All right. I want to formally welcome you all to our 2024 pre-camp leader meeting for Rhodes Scout Reservation. Happy to have you all here with us tonight and glad to have you attending Rhodes France this summer. The camp leadership is very excited to have you there. My name is Matt Kaufman. I am the camping director for the Greater St. Louis Area Council. I oversee our Scouts BSA and venturing summer camps, as well as some other items throughout the council territory. Also with us tonight, where it says 2023 because I missed a number, is actually 2024 camp leadership, being our camp director, Sharon Renfro. Sharon, if you want to say hi.
Hi, I'm Sharon. This will be my second year on admin at Rhodes France. We're super excited to have everybody tonight.
And our 2024 program director, Blake Girdner.
Hi, super excited to be here. I've been a camp staffer for a lot of years, and it's been great to finally step up to here.
Great. So I'm going to leave that slide just for a moment so that if you need to capture their information, you can do so, and get the email addresses that you might need to reach out at a later point. And then we will get moving on as we want to move through the agenda and be respectful of your time tonight. We also know there are some playoff games that people are wanting to watch tonight for the NCAA tournament. So we'll move quickly through. One other thing that I want to point your attention to is up on the screen now. That would be the 2024 leader guide. If you have not yet seen that document or read through it, you should do so. The QR code on the screen will take you directly to it. You can also find it on our council website, stlbsa.org/camps. Then you click on the Scouts BSA and Venturing Summer Camp option, and you'll be able to find it under the Rhodes France box there. So again, stlbsa.org/camps, or scan that QR code. If you want to look at that while we're going through things tonight, feel free to have that pulled up. Otherwise, you can review it later time. We do encourage you to look over that. Even if you've been coming to camp for many, many years, there can be changes and things that we want you to be aware of. So make sure that you take the time to read through that guide and share it with any leaders that are going to be attending camp. All right. First real topic that we want to dive into as part of our pre-camp leader meeting, being the important dates and deadlines that are approaching, in some cases quicker than others, but the April 10th one for sure is one that we want everyone to be aware of. That is our early bird savings day, where any youth member who is registers and pays in full by that date receives a $20 discount for summer camp. So again, make sure your families are all aware of that date coming up and can take advantage of that $20 savings. I know every little bit helps in attending summer camp, so we want to make sure everyone knows about that date. If you have a scout join who is joining after that date, they haven't crossed over yet, or a new scout joins, we're actually on Monday kicking off a Scouts BSA recruitment campaign across the council that you'll start to hear more about. They will still receive that lower rate as well, even if it's after that April 10th date, but the system won't automatically be able to update that for you. So you'll have to reach out to us, either myself, or you can email help@stlbsa.org. Again, help@stlbsa.org in order to have us apply that discount manually on the back side. There's just not a way to set it up to where the system knows when a scout joins the program. The next deadline on the screen that you'll see is May 1st. That's our deadline for campership applications to be submitted. We want to make sure that any scout gets the chance to attend camp. We don't want finances to be a barrier that prevents someone from attending camp. So if you have families that have that need for that special assistance to attend, have them apply for a campership. It is kept as confidential as it can. The unit leader will see that a campership's been applied for, and then our staff that review and the group that approves them, but otherwise no one else sees them. I don't see them. I don't know the circumstances in them, things like that. But we give away last year it was over $120,000 in camperships in our council, and that's a very important thing for us to make sure that as many scouts get that chance to attend as possible. The campership application is online. It's linked on the council website, as are a lot of other things on that stlbsa.org/camps. There's a blue box across the top of that page that says camp resources and information. Any form that we mentioned tonight, a lot of other resources, they're all on that page in that drop-down box. The last deadline, just to mention so that you're aware of it, May 31st. We want all final payments. So if someone doesn't take advantage of the early bird savings, or you have adult fees that you haven't paid yet, whatever that might be, all payments need to be paid by May 31st. Otherwise, there is another small increase in fees, as we are well on our way of purchasing and planning and have things lined out by the time June 1st rolls around. So make sure that you take care of those things by May 31st. One other deadline type thing that I like to mention, we did recently launch pre-orders for 2024 camp t-shirts. Those are available for pre-order on gatewaytraders.org, which is our online source for camp and council branded merchandise, as well as a lot of other items now that you can buy in the scout shops. You can also buy on Gateway Traders. Pre-orders for t-shirts need to be done by April 26th. If you are concerned that you definitely want a shirt in a certain size, we recommend pre-ordering. Right now, although we're working on it for Rhodes, I put it's not an option to pick up at camp in 2024, but for Rhodes France only, we are working on a pilot this year to be able to turn that feature on. We're trying to figure out how to make the system do it to where if you're ordering camp shirts, they can be picked up at camp instead of having it shipped. The other pickup option that is available right now is at the Central Illinois Service Center in Decatur, where if you're local enough to that service center, you can order and place it for pickup here. The shirts will be ordered after that deadline of April 26th, available mid-May or mid to late May, depending on the the printer's availability. You'll see the 2024 shirt on the screen for Rhodes France. So we're excited. Many people are excited it's not green, from what I was told. So we're happy about that, but definitely want you to take advantage of that. We try to keep the trading posts as stocked as possible throughout the summer, but we just can't always guess correctly. So again, wanted to make sure you knew about the pre-orders tonight. I get the privilege of talking about some of the not as much flashy fun things about camp. So I'll be covering a lot of the rules and requirements portion of tonight, and then I'll turn it over to Sharon and Blake here in a bit to cover all the fun stuff. But one thing I do want to focus on for just a moment is the leadership requirements for troops attending camp or any activity really in the BSA. Each leader needs to have at least 2 registered leaders who are at least 21 years old or above. They used to be you could have an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. Now anymore, they have to both be at least 21. They have to be registered in the unit they are attending with. So that is a more recent change in the BSA. As we've gone through the bankruptcy filing and the finalization of those processes, you'll see some additional changes to things. That was one of them. You do need them to be registered in the unit you are attending with, and that is simply because that is a program of that chartered organization, that troop is part of that organization, so they need to have that approval step of approving leaders that are attending with the scouts in that group. Female troops, obviously, as you do with any activity, have to have at least 1 adult female over the age of 21 registered as well. And then a change that was made September 1st last year, any adult who will be staying overnight at all on any Scouts BSA camping outing must be registered. So they can't just be a parent and come for a night and stay overnight. If they're going to stay overnight, they have to be registered in that unit. And then one other just reminder about that part. It does take a little bit of time to become a registered adult. So you can't just show up at camp with an application and expect that to work. You need to do this at least a week or two is best ahead of time. If you do have people to register, That way it has time to process the registration, get through the background check process. And after March 1st this year, they started a new, I almost call it a holding period, where after you submit that application, you're informed you don't start interacting in that leadership role in the troop until, or in any scouting group, until after that check is completed, and you're then given the go ahead. So again, allow days and days for those things to take place. Getting registered early is the best bet there. If you do have concerns about being able to meet those leadership requirements, reach out to us, either Sharon or myself. We'll work through, see what we can do with you to make sure that your scouts are covered and everything is good for your time at camp. We don't want any of this to be a hindrance, but we do have the rules that we do have to follow. So, but we will work with you to figure out what we can in that case. We'll remind, just as we go throughout, if you do have questions, feel free to list those in the Q&A box, and we will be able to see those and get to them as needed. So I will admit this is not a photo from Rhodes, France. Many of them are. This one's not, and I don't like that snake. So just sharing. Steps that we need troops to do between now and when camp begins. These are all really important steps and help us better plan for your arrival, whichever week of camp you are attending. The first one being ensuring that your numbers in the registration system are as accurate as they can be right now. That can be adding people on that you know are coming to camp that you haven't added spots for yet, or requesting spots to be taken off of that registration that are currently there. You as unit leaders, whoever is your registration contact in the Black Pug registration system, have access to be able to add scouts at any point, add adults at any point in the system for your registration. If for some reason it is telling you that there's a limit and you can't add it, reach out to that help@stlbsa.org. We build in buffers as far as attendance caps go each week, so that as we approach them, we then are the ones noticing that we're adding on and getting to a certain level of scouts. So we can still add them. We will make it work. If it doesn't let you, let us know. We'll take care of it. But this is also really helpful, is why we need those deletions if you have extra spots right now. If you have more spots than you have scouts signed up in your troop, you probably need to take some of those off of there. We know you might be anticipating crossovers, but we would rather it be as accurate today and then add those crossovers on later. That's just an easier way for us to manage what is coming up. The QR code that's on the screen takes you to a form that you can fill out to remove blank spots from that system. Then on that same page we've discussed a couple of times, the stlbsa.org/camps, you'll, in that drop down menu, you'll see the refund request form. So if you have the spot assigned to someone and now they may not be able to attend, you need to fill out the refund request form so that we can work through our approval process there to ensure that we just are following the right steps to get your numbers all correct. Next thing you're going to want to do once your numbers are right is make sure that you have added names to all of those spots in the registration system. Instead of it just listing youth or adult, go ahead and add in the names of the people that are attending in those spots, both youth and adults. Those are important just to make sure that you have those names assigned. It's very helpful if you're using the parent portal. That's what keeps track of the credentials that they need to go in and make payments or help select classes if you have those options turned on. Make sure that you're registering your adults. You may not know exactly who's going to be there right now, but you know you're going to have 2 adults. Go ahead and put those 2 spots in. You do have the option to have full-time adults. That is a spot that's going to be there all week, or part-time adult. So say on Wednesday and Thursday, you're going to have an extra person there. You can register that person just for Wednesday and Thursday in the system. It will let you do that. The biggest important thing on the adult side, having the names listed of who's going to be there on Sunday when you check in. So that way the system is accurate on arrival day. We know the roster is correct when you get there. other spots that those same people may not be staying the full week, and we can rotate in other leaders throughout the week. But the ones on Sunday are what really should be in that system for when you arrive. Then, of course, make sure if your scouts are current with the payment schedule that you're getting them signed up for classes. Right now, that payment schedule is at $250 per person. If you caught it early and were current before March 9th, it was only $80. You could select classes at that point. Now that it's rolled, in order to edit or change or choose classes, it does need to be at that $250 level. I think it changes again in late April, but again, hopefully you're taking advantage of the early bird savings and everyone will be paid in full and be able to do what they need. The last really important thing to submit between now and camp are special dietary requests and needs there. Again, these are going to be food allergies, medical restrictions, religious restrictions. There's a form on our website that you can fill out. It's also linked in the leader's guide to submit those requirements to us so that our food service staff have plenty of time to secure the correct ingredients that we need and make sure that we have what is needed to meet the needs of the campers and leaders at in attendance. I will put one little caveat with that. There are some diets that are too restrictive for us to be able to handle. In those cases, you may be asked, well, and we'll reach out and let you know if this is the case. You may be asked that individual is bringing their own food. We will make space available for storage and preparation as needed. We do our very best to cover anything in those big 9 food allergies and then other, vegan, vegetarian, those kind of things. But some people just have way more restrictions than what we are able to accommodate as we're cooking for hundreds of people at once. So just wanted to make mention of that so that you're all aware. Couple other quick notes. First one being a camp program form. And Sharon, you guys utilized that last year, correct? No, you didn't?
No, but we will be using it this year.
Okay, great. I left it in, so I was hoping. I couldn't remember for sure about last year. So this form is a simple Google form usually that will come out to you to the registration contact in the Black Pug system. So if that person is not the right person to fill it out, they will need to forward it on to the right leader to get it completed. Because I know some people handle camp registration that aren't actually attending, and that's perfectly fine. But this form will give the camp staff a lot of information that they need to ensure the last minute planning steps are done and they are prepared for your arrival at camp. So when that comes to you a week or two or more before camp, just make sure that you pay attention to it, get it completed as quickly as you can so that the staff have that ample opportunity to prepare and remove as many speed bumps from the road as possible when you arrive. And then speaking of arrival at camp, I'm going to turn over to Sharon for just a moment, and she will kind of walk through the camp arrival and check-in process with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Matt mentioned, about 2 weeks before you come to camp, you should get an email from us, from Trent, actually, who was our camp director last year, will be our administrative assistant this summer at camp. So another familiar face for everybody. He will send that out, and that form will have lots of questions that will help us get ready for you for check-in. About a week ahead of time, we'll get back in touch with you with a second email with times and more specific information for you for arriving at camp. We'll assign each unit a time, and when you arrive, we'll have a site guide ready to take you to all of our check-in stations. So med forms, swim checks, there'll be a tour of camp. That evening, we do have chapel and, of course, opening fire bowl after dinner. So we will make sure that we work with your scouts to have med forms ready, and then someone will walk you back to your site, get you settled there, go over expectations and questions at the site. Trailers will go back. The only things that will go back is the one vehicle with the trailer, and we'll work with our ranger and with you when you arrive to make sure that's done safely. I think that's everything I have for check-in, unless there's something else, Matt, you think we should cover.
No, if you've got any specific questions that you want us to cover, go ahead and send that to us, and we will take that on as we move throughout the next couple of slides before we then hit program information. So next up, we will talk everyone's favorite topic, the BSA annual health and medical record, the AHMR, as it's affectionately known by no one. But the health form you can see here on the screen is the BSA's official annual health and medical record. These health forms are required for all attendees, and they have to be on the BSA's form. It can't be a school physical attached to Part C of this, has to be attached. For scouts and scouters attending the full week, parts A, B, and C are required. A and B, A is the informed consent and agreement portion of the form. Part B rather, is the health history and information there. And then part C is the physical examination by a doctor, or there are a few other entities that are able to do that. But those are the parts that are required, and again, has to be on that form. The one thing that you can attach to it is like an immunization record. That could be attached to it instead of filling out the little box with the immunizations. That's okay. That's not a big deal. I got a question at one of our leader meetings regarding immunizations, and the one that the BSA requires is tetanus. You have to have a current tetanus shot within the last 10 years. That is the one that is required. The others are all recommended. So if you don't have a current tetanus shot, I didn't a few years ago. I couldn't have told you what the date was, so I just went to our local health department and was able to get that real quickly one day. So then I know I'm good for 10 years. If you have an adult that will be attending for under 72 hours, they can get by with just the parts A and B. Again, the health history, that informed consent portion. Again, these all have to be completed within the last 12 months, and that counts for all three parts, A, B, and C. They need to be current within the last 12 months. The example I use for you to know if it's going to be good is it's good 12 months to the last day of that 12th month. So it might sound a little odd, but say last year in 2023, you had a physical done on June 15th. That is good through June 30th, 2024. So anything during the month of June is good until the end of June. If you're attending camp in July, obviously it needs to be after July 1st of 2023. So if you have questions on that, let us know, but it's 12 months to the last day of that last month. It is extremely beneficial if you have these collected well ahead of camp and have time to review them for accuracy, completion. A lot of things get missed here and there on these forms. One of the biggest ones that gets missed is on this very front page. There's a little checkbox that if there's no restrictions, that checkbox should be marked. Other things are a lot of times, especially where it's talking about allergies, there's two columns on the page. The right-hand column often gets missed. People fill out the two things in the left-hand column and then don't hop over and do the right. I did find yesterday, actually, and I haven't had a chance to look at it more in depth. There is a BSA safety moment on checking these for completion, which is very handy. If you're not as familiar with it, I would encourage you can just Google BSA safety moments, and you'll find the one about the annual health and medical record. It's very beneficial, again, to help you make sure that these are all accurate before you arrive at camp. All right. Last thing for me to talk about is just one that I find very, very helpful if units are taking care of that. Oh, yeah. Before I cover the pre-camp swim check, that was a fantastic point that I didn't think to answer properly or mention. The other thing that often gets forgotten on the health form is you are supposed to attach copies of both sides of your health insurance card as well. So make sure that that your people are doing that. That way those are done. That is extremely helpful if we do have any incident where someone does have to go to an urgent care or to an emergency room, because that's already there for them. It saves time where they're not having to track down that information if it's already there. So great question. I'm glad you brought that up. One thing that can greatly speed up your check-in day overall, or at least make it a little bit easier for you, is if you have done a pre-camp swim check. So we do encourage them at all of our camps, and it's a fairly simple process if you have access to a facility where you can do that and a lifeguard who will do it for you. So there's a form called the BSA Unit Swim Classification Record. We have it linked on our website in that same blue menu box, Camp Resources and Information, where you can find that. It's on the Scouts BSA side, in like the third or fourth column of those resources. But you download that form. The front page has a grid that will get filled out after the completion of the test to list everyone and then which swim classification of the three that they meet. On the back side is the instructions for the lifeguard on how to conduct the test, what the requirements are, what they have to do, how far do they have to swim, strokes, etc. So any certified lifeguard can perform this test for you. The one kicker is that the facility has to meet the needs of the test. So step one of the BSA swim test is jump into water over your head, level off, and then begin. So if the pool is 3 feet deep, you're not going to be able to do that test properly. So just ensuring that you're utilizing a facility that meets the needs is important. That form will get turned in as part of your check-in process. It's generically said here that it's going to be the aquatics director. That may be a different person, but your site counselor will be able to tell you exactly what will happen with that. I will always mention that the camp staff have the option to retest a scout if they see that they may be struggling or they don't quite feel that they're as strong of a swimmer as that pre-camp swim check shows. Obviously, this is one of our our most risky areas in a camp with the aquatics area. So we want to make sure that everyone is safe in that area. So they may do that. But again, this can help speed things up and really be beneficial to you. I forgot to say one thing on the medical form, so I'm going to circle back to that before I turn things over to Sharon and Trent. So on that annual health and medical record, and this is more so applying to adults than the youth. I find it important to mention, especially after events of last summer at different camp, well, actually a few different camps across the country, but there are adults especially, but there are always individuals attending our camps that have some kind of restriction due to health issues or previous history, whatever that might be. We really want to emphasize one, doctors and you as patients of those doctors or your other leaders, whoever it might be, need to take this process really seriously and understand if you do have restrictions, there's some activities you probably shouldn't take part in. I myself, I know it's hard to tell on this screen, but I'm not the smallest person. So I know I have some limits on what I should do based on my current health, my health history and family history, whatever else that might be. So I have to take that upon myself to kind of limit where I need to. So we want you to be safe while you're there. Take that whole process seriously, list things accurately on those forms, and don't put yourself in a risky situation that may result in a medical emergency for you. So just want to share that just so it's on everyone's mind that you're taking it seriously as we move towards summer. Just always a good thing to think about and reiterate with everybody attending. All right. As soon as I find my mouse, there we go. We're going to move into the program portion. Sharon and Blake are going to kind of tag team different parts of this. I'm going to shut up, which makes people happier usually. So I will just basically pull up the slide for them and they'll go through the different highlights on each of them and then cover anything else that may not be on there that they want to. We'll come back together and wrap up at the very end with a little bit more time for questions that you might have. So Sharon, Blake, off to you.
So we are super excited for some of the program we have going on this summer. Some different things are changing that we're really excited to show you guys, but a lot of it will be The first thing I want to talk about is our Wayfinder program. So the available sessions, as you see on the screen here, are Scout and Tenderfoot sessions, second class and first class. This covers the rank requirements, and you will sign up for these like you would sign up for a merit badge. And the process of which is just kind of day by day. We're going to run it like all of our badges do. We're going to have periods and blocks set for each of these classes, and then the requirements are all rank based, and they will be presented to you, and you guys are going to sign off on those. We don't sign off on them. That's just not something that we have done or will do. But we hand them to you so you guys know that they've completed these requirements and are ready to be signed off on. You're the slideshow guy, Matt.
All right, I'm going to take family night. So our family night at Rhodes, France is on Wednesdays, and we welcome guests anytime after 5. We will have staff helping with parking. We will have staff ready to greet your guests at the front check-in building. There are guest meals available for purchase, and those can be purchased on the day of at our trading post. We do have guests that come in and cook with their troops as well. So if you would rather cook and have a family style meal in your campsite, you're welcome to do that and bring in items for that. That evening, we do our OA call out ceremony. So we will have open programming, some different fun things going on that evening. We will have the STEM van this year down at camp, which is super exciting for us, something new. And then when all of that wraps up, we will have our evening flags, and then we will head down to our fire bowl for our OA call out ceremony.
I'm going to add on just one thing just to cover for to make sure everyone's well aware. So at Rhodes, France, Willow Pink Lodge, one of our 4 OA lodges in the Greater St. Louis Area Council, conducts that call out ceremony, but members of any lodge can participate and be called out if they have been elected. So that will still take place. If you are a member of Neshikatan, Shawnee, or Ampetaway Lodge, no additional information is needed other than making sure that the camp leadership has the names of those that are to be called out. No pre-ordeal or any of that is done at camp at Rhodes, France, so you don't have to worry about that. If you are attending from another lodge outside of the Greater St. Louis Area Council, you do need to bring with you or send ahead of time a letter from your lodge chief and lodge advisor saying that we have permission to take part, or that you have permission to take part in the call out outside of your home council. But again, everyone is welcome to be part of that call out. It's a great experience for anyone attending. So just make sure that you're aware of that aspect as it relates to the other lodges.
And then going along with that, we do have an ice cream social that takes place for members of the Order of the Arrow, and that includes anybody who is in the Order of the Arrow as well. And we will have information as best we can from each of the lodges, and then WOA Pink members will be there to talk to people as well.
So some of the specialty programs we offer, and these are for our 14 and up scouts, are the BSA pistol safety and marksmanship. We have an absolutely fantastic shooting sports area. They are incredibly great at what they do, and one of the greatest marks of that is our pistol safety and marksmanship classes, which is kind of a shining highlight for the area and our camp, as well as the Baden-Powell Patrol Award. This is patrol for all patrols. Welcome to take part in this, and we'll have those requirements up when they get there, just so that they know what they need to do. The Duty to God program is also up there, and it is a program, and how we run it is very similar to a lot of other camps. And lastly, some of our other specialty I'm sorry, it's the next slide, so I'll just wait.
I will just clarify because my slide's a little confusing. The only one of those that is 14 and up only is the pistol safety and marksmanship program. So that's a little misleading on the screen. The others are available for anyone attending. So now I'll advance it for you, Blake.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So up next is an Apex program, and this is something we've been wanting to work on, and Sharon and I have kind of spent a lot of time on just trying to decide how we want to do this. And this is one of our older scout programs, and it's designed for some of those that have already done a lot of the badges that they've enjoyed at Rhodes, France, and still are coming back and wanting to spend time at our property. This is a very flexible program for older scouts, and some of the activities will include our crate stacking, which we're really excited about. We finally got that here, and at least one offsite excursion, and we have already worked through a lot of that. We're super excited to offer that for you. Another thing to mention, I don't know if it's on the next slide or not because I can't see the next one, but is our open programs in the afternoon. A lot of that is on the next slide. Yeah. No?
It's
All
on the
right.
one after this.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take this slide though. So merit badge fees in GSLAC, it is very convenient because they are included in the Black Pug registry. So everything is lined out for you. So when you get to camp, you don't have to worry about purchasing things at the trading post. The scouts don't need to bring extra money for that because it's all included in what they have already registered for. And so we will have those waiting and ready for them at their merit badge areas.
Blake, before we move on, there's a good question there that either you or Sharon can answer in the chat or in the Q&A.
Yeah, so the Baden-Powell Award is a list of, I believe, about 12 options for patrols to participate in, everything from service projects around the camp, which might be something as simple as doing trash walks to clean up fire bowl area, or it might be removing Russian olive, which is an invasive species that we have at camp. So conservation project hours, which are always needed for advancement. It could be things like participating in a skit, leading a song. There's volunteering to help clean our shower house, to help in the dining hall. There's several different ways that they can participate around camp. One of them that was a favorite last year was building a camp gadget in your site. So have your SPLs start thinking about what they would like to build. We really enjoyed taking pictures of those and sharing them on social media last year. So that is one of those opportunities that they have. Just sort of building their familiarity with camp, and then also that idea that the camp belongs to them. That's our goal with the Baden-Powell Award.
So some of the additional programs we're offering this summer: open swimming and open boating. These take place in the afternoon. Kind of when we have that downtime on merit badges, unless people are in their classes, we're offering times for you to swim and boat. Stand-up paddleboarding was also part of that, and it will take place at the lake. Our evening programs are very similar to how they've been in years in the past. Last year we had a Monday night game night, and our Tuesday night was Scout Olympics. Wednesday will remain family night and our OA call-out ceremony. Thursday is our activity at the lake, and then Friday is our closing campfire.
Right. Sharon, do you have any examples or Blake of camp gadgets you guys saw last year?
Yeah, so we had the standard making a gate to camp. We had toilet paper holders that they rigged up. We had I cannot remember the name of it, but it's a type of stand that you build the fire onto. It'll come to me. It's built like a triangle, but it's built up off the ground and it's used for patrol cooking. It was super, super neat. I think those were my favorites, the toilet paper holder and the oven that they built.
I've seen some other random ones through different experiences at camps of whether they're truly useful camp gadgets or not. They may just be something that they made up, and it's pretty cool. Think like maybe it's a Rube Goldberg contraption of some kind, but anything really that they may want to let their imaginations run wild with.
I've seen a gate that opens like a bird's wings. That's probably the coolest one I've seen.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah, definitely.
So the one other additional programming that I will mention is that we do have some adult training available. And this year we have made it in Black Pug where you can register for it sort of like you would a merit badge. So when you register your adults, they'll be able to select a class. And we have IOLS going on each week at camp. And then we are also able to offer a CPR class on Friday mornings. We have somebody who's volunteered to come in and teach that every Friday. So those are both things that you can find through your Black Pug registration.
Yeah, for that, it will look a little different at Rhodes, France versus some of the other camps that you may be used to because we turned on a schedule option for those classes in the adult registration. So as you, just like you would with the Scouts, when you click update information, it has an option to select classes. That should be, if we did it all right, it should be there as an option for the adults as well. So it's another great opportunity for you to knock out some of that training that can be really difficult to get to if you're already going to be at camp. And then the trainer that we've got coming in to offer a CPR class. That's fantastic that's been able to be arranged. A lot of camps were not able to make that kind of thing happen. So we're lucky to have that.
So IOLS will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the mornings only. So for 3 hours each day. And then we will have Friday morning for that. It's more about 4 hours for Friday for CPR. So that will be when that takes place. All right, I think we might have gotten all of our questions answered. All right, so staff opportunities is the next thing. Rhodes France, we are very lucky to have lots of our staff returning. We really enjoy that. Some of our new staff are very excited to have their first opportunity to work at a camp. We do still have 2 positions at Rhodes France that we're looking to fill. We have a Wayfinder director position, and so that is an 18 years or older position that we are looking for. We are interviewing some people this week, but we would love to hear from anybody interested. And then we're also looking for a part-time cook, somebody preferably that's 18 or older and that has their food handler or food manager's certificate or is willing to renew one or get one. So those are our 2 positions, but all of our camps are still hiring up the last few positions. Aquatics is a large need on all of our properties. So if you know anybody who is a lifeguard or who is a strong swimmer, particularly people who are 18 and up or 21 and up is even better, that have an interest in aquatics, we could definitely use them. There is a link on that St. Louis BSA website that takes you directly to the application. Matt, that's still open and running, correct?
Yes, yeah, the application is there. If you go to the link on the screen there, scroll down, you'll see work at our camps, and then that page will have the application on it. As Sharon mentioned, aquatics definitely at a couple of the camps, in particular down at SBRF, at the camps there where we have a large lake and we have things like ski boats, and we need people to be able to drive them, and they have to be at least 18 to do that. So if you know someone that wants to come down and drive a ski boat for the summer, have them apply. They'll need to complete their Missouri boater's license, but it's a pretty easy course to get through. And then we train them on the use of the boats there at camp.
And then the last thing that we have available at Rhodes France, which is unique to our Scouts BSA programs, is that we have CITs. And so you will see several youth that are 14 that are running around camp and working just as hard as our staff. They'll have shirts that are a little bit different colors than our staff, but they do work alongside our paid staff. They volunteer for the summer. They get that opportunity to learn what it's like to work at camp. And we just ask that you give them a little bit of extra patience and grace, but they are really a great group of scouts. We do have a little bit more space in that program for this summer, just a couple spots that we could still fill. So if you have any 14-year-olds that are wanting to come down to camp, even if it was just for a week or 2 to experience working that you think would make great staff members in the future, they can apply online as well. There's a CIT link that they can apply through.
All right. We've given you a lot of information in 45 minutes or so. But we don't want to rush. If you do have questions, make sure you're getting those into the Q&A box. I want to give people a moment to ask those. But while we're doing that, just because you didn't think of your question tonight doesn't mean you can't ask it. We share our contact information. We have council service centers that you can call, and they'll route you to the right person, or you can utilize the council help desk at that help@stlbsa.org. We want to answer those questions to make sure that you and the scouts have the best experience possible while you are there. Mike is asking about Miles Swim, if you want to hit on that, one of you.
Absolutely. So the mile swim is part of some of the programs that we offer. We'll have it every day as a practice up until the Friday held at the pool.
Yeah. So you faded off there just a touch, but at the pool, Mike was that last little bit. His audio was a little quiet at the end of that answer. Okay, so normally if I say this next phrase, questions start to flood into that box. So I don't see any questions in the Q&A at the moment. Oh, maybe not. Doesn't always happen, but it does a lot. There we go.
Yeah, so Jeff, we're going to do some on-site team building and a little similar to our open program areas, but just a little bit more for the scouts. So we're hoping to do some hatchet throwing. We know we're going to be doing crate stacking. We know for sure that one of our off-site trips will be kayaking on the Eagle Trail that's at Lake Shelbyville. And we're hoping to do at least one other off-site. And then while we're on site, we'll be creating some activities that are only available to the scouts who are in Apex. And so they'll get to spend some time with our staff, doing a little bit of that, connecting them to the next step, right? We always want them to look forward to what else they can give back to scouting as they get to that age. And so giving them that opportunity to spend some time with our older staff members.
Right. There's not necessarily specific programs outside of what merit badge programs that you need to sign up for ahead of time at Rhodes France. If anything does come up that we want to change around and ask you about ahead of time, that'll be part of that program form that does come out prior to camp. So that should take care of that one.
So, Michael, there are always things that crop up as we get to camp, and that Sunday meeting will be the time when we say, hey, we could really use extra hands for this. And our hope is that we're always fully staffed during the summer, but of course, sometimes things do happen. But we always love to have scoutmasters and adults walking around, interacting with their scouts, and just being present in merit badges as that little voice of reason saying, hey, can I help you think about doing it this way? So you're always welcome to go to merit badges.
Yeah, and another one there is sometimes in the shooting sports area, if you are, say, an archery instructor or a NRA rifle instructor, etc., checking in with that staff at their shooting sports area when you arrive. They may, take your extra help throughout the week. Depending, if classes are large, it's always helpful to have a few extra hands.
And that'll be one of the questions on the Google form is what special trainings do you have and things that you're interested in helping with at camp? Matt, can you take the bike question for clarification?
Sure, I can answer it. I don't know that you know the answer. So yes, bikes are okay. Actually, we don't have a rule against bikes at any of our camps. The thing that is very important, one, that they are managed properly, that if a scout is not following the rules, that they are not on it. Or an adult for that matter. Anyone riding a bike has to have the helmet on and buckled, not just sitting on top of their head. And they need to stick to roads, not riding it on the footpaths and trails. That is not okay. Not leaving them laying in walkways, etc. So again, it can be done. I will mention Rhodes France is a smaller camp, so it's not as necessary at Rhodes France, but it still can be helpful. And we've had it many times where we've had bikes on site there.
So John, I'll take yours about cooking. I assume you mean insight cooking when you say Jambo style. So we do have that option, absolutely. And that is something that you will mark on your registration. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, so at Rhodes France, it's a little different than, say, like Camp Gamble. If a troop chooses to do the campsite cooking option at Rhodes France, there's a discounted rate, but we don't provide the food. You have to bring all of that food yourself, and we will help with storage as much as possible with that. But it is an option that's out there. We have a few troops that take care of it, a lot that are legacy troops from the former council in Central Illinois, but not a ton that do, but it is there as a potential for you. All right. I always hesitate though, just for a moment in case someone's typing, so I don't want to cut them off. Again, we will post this recording on the council website. We'll actually upload it to YouTube and then provide a link on the council website on our Scouts BSA and Venturing Summer Camp page. And we will email out to any adult that we have an email for that's registered to attend camp. We will email that notification. Last thing, but how in the, oh, someone figured out how to raise a hand. I didn't know we had that turned on. The other thing that I will mention is if you have scouts that are looking for another opportunity, another adventure this summer, that maybe they want to do more than just their week at Rhodes, France. We have multiple specialty camps that take place around the council. We have the SBRF Ranger program taking part at SBRF Scout Ranch just south of Farmington, Missouri. It's a backpacking and hiking adventure across the 5,200 acre Scout Ranch there. Those sessions take place. There are 5 total sessions happening in June and July. So definitely one taking place on the weeks that you would not be at Rhodes, France. Encourage scouts to take part in the National Youth Leadership Training Program if they have not, and they are current or future leaders in your troop. That's a great program for them to learn leadership skills. We have horse camp at Nagel Base at Beaumont Scout Reservation, advanced horsemanship program that takes place. That is, I think it's July 28th through August 3rd this year, where that will be happening. It's a limited camp. There's only 20 total spots because we only have so many horses. But it is a unique opportunity for you to take part in a lot of the fun activities around Beaumont, but also learning more about riding and taking care of the horses. They do a cavalcade show at the end of the week, all kinds of fun stuff there. And then this year, we've had for many, many years our STEM camp at Beaumont. Last year, we started a skilled trades camp at Swift High Adventure Base. Well, this year, we're going to combine them to better utilize the resources of volunteers. And we are going to hold our STEM and skilled trades camp. That is, again, in July at Beaumont Scout Reservation, where there will be options for over 60 different merit badges, NOVA awards on the STEM side, but a chance to work with experts both in STEM-related fields and career-based fields for the skilled trades and a few other careers that may not necessarily be considered skilled trades, but still fit in with that career education. So great opportunity for them to take part in one of those specialty camps. And then we have a weekend camp that we will be launching very shortly. We will make a big splash out of it on social media, on any of the channels that we can through the council, and we'll email it out, all kinds of things. So kind of be on the lookout for that. It's a musical related camp being offered in July. So just you're the only group I've told this to publicly. So lucky you. So just keep that in mind. Apex, Sharon?
I would say if they are registered as a youth for our camp, then they are eligible to participate in that program.
Okay. And what we have done in some of the other camps is if we have a small group or something, and there is an adult that would like to kind of help out or something like that, talk to the camp leadership upon arrival, and we may be able to make it work there.
So I would just add that as we get closer to summer camp, we do have both a Facebook and an Instagram for Rhodes France. And I would encourage you to follow it. I would encourage you to share it with your scouts. We've been sharing information about our staff and we'll keep updating there. And that's always a good way to stay up to date on what's going on at camp.
Great. All right. Blake, any last comments for everybody tonight? No? Is that a no?
I think that's all I got.
All right. Sharon?
Nope. Just thank you everybody for joining us. And we can't wait to see you this summer.
Yep. And that's about what I've got for you all is thank you. Thank you very much for what you're doing in scouting right now throughout the year that allows us to go out and play at summer camps each summer. If it wasn't for you guys doing this right now, we wouldn't have a reason to. Encourage you to work as hard as you can to get as many of your scouts to camp as we can. We know that scouts who participate in summer camp stick with the scouting program longer, get more out of it, and just truly become those better scouts that we are preparing them all to be. So with that, we will wrap up. Again, thank you, and look for the recording to be posted in the next several days. Hope everyone has a very good Friday, good Friday tomorrow, and a happy Easter over the weekend, and any other celebrations that you may have coming up. So thank you all.